Let's file today's video under Confessions of a Coffee Roaster. I have owned a coffee company for 15 years, and I do not own a drip coffee maker, at least at home, until now. I'm not sure why I haven't. I've got just about every other brewer method out there. I have a couple French presses, a smaller one, a larger one, both stainless steel. I have an older full-size AeroPress. I have an AeroPress Mini. I have a mocha pot. I have a stovetop percolator. I have an espresso machine. I have a Hario. I have a Kalita, the V-shape versus the flat bottom pour over. But I don't have a drip maker until now. I was still working on a new drip blend. I borrowed this machine from a friend while I worked on that. Thank you, Forrest. And while I was borrowing this for a few weeks, Fellow released their new Aiden drip maker. I decided it would be fun to test out the two side by side. I've been a huge fan of the Technovorm. As long as I've been in coffee, we sell them at the shop. They're great, they're reliable, they have a very stable temperature flow. They use a heating element that produces consistent water temperature through the whole brew process. They have a nice shower head so that the coffee is well saturated. But there's some things I don't love about it. I don't love the plasticky-ness of it. This feels cheap and weird. It works. I don't love it though. I've always thought this is strange. Their brewer, this is where the water brews from. That comes off. I guess for cleaning it's nice, which I think I'm due to do there. But overall the feel is okay, but it produces really good coffee. So it gets a pass on its okay components. I like the aesthetic. You get to watch the air bubble up through the water as it's brewing. That's fun. You get to watch the pot fill up. That's nice. I love its simplicity. 2 switches, large pot, small pot. Whatever water you've put in there, you turn on and it brews. I like that. It's super simple. It makes great coffee every time. But enter the Fellow. At first, I was kind of convinced it might be too much, but I'm pretty sold on it. It has, I'll go over the things I don't like first. Plastic. Again, why no one makes a metal one is beyond me. Just make your basket metal. It'll last a lifetime. Might cost a couple dollars more, but in the big picture, we get to avoid hot water and plastic. That's nice. But, oh well, minor downfall. It does not have a heat element here. It goes into a twin wall carafe. The carafe is well built. It keeps the coffee hot for a while. I'd say well over an hour. But I wish there was a heating element. Fellow makes really good kettles that are very precise in temperature. You can go 200 degrees, 202 degrees, 207 degrees, 184 degrees. You choose. You just turn it on the dial. It holds at that temp. I feel like they could have done the same thing here and it would have been neat, or just a classic hot plate. They didn't. I don't love that they didn't, but they made up for it in other ways that make up for it and make it so I really like this machine. The 2 cones that come with it are the first notable difference. Large pot, small pot. Can do up to, I think, 3.5 cups with this, and anything larger with this. When you do a quick instant brew is what it's called on the menu. Whatever water you've put into the water tank is going to brew through. So if you've got it full, it's going to brew a full pot. But you can also choose to do custom batches really simply through the menu. It's only a couple buttons, and you get to choose. The factory settings are for light, medium, and dark. I believe the temperatures that will come out, which are adjustable, but I think it's factory set to 203, 200, and 197. And there's kind of a generic profile time. It'll give it, I think, about a 30-second bloom phase, and then the rest is brew. It's about a 5-minute process. You get to choose how much coffee you want to go in there. So I've been making pots with 4.5 cups. It gives you a suggested coffee ratio, amount of coffee to put in. You put the coffee in, you push brew, and it takes care of the rest. It's kind of awesome because you can tweak with the temperature a little bit, you can tweak with the brew time, and see how the temperature affects the coffee. And I think it's all perfectly subjective between whether or not a light roast likes a higher temp or a lower temp. But the fact that you can do it is really cool. There's, in my mind, room for both of these machines that I could justify for what I like for myself. There's the part of me that loves the simple analog, just make it happen. You put your coffee in, you choose your pot size, you go. I like that in the same sense that I like the stovetop percolator. You put your coffee in, you boil it. There is no precision. You just get to brew coffee. If the coffee is good, the drink will be good. Same with the French press. Add your coffee, add your water, let it sit, steep, strain, pour, drink. I love a simple coffee. It's great. No pretension, just super easy. But there's another side of me, and this is the side of me that I think does well as a coffee roaster and loves playing with our Loring machines, which offer utter precision while we're roasting and allow me to tweak temperatures in minor ways that greatly affect the coffee while I'm roasting. And this brewer lets you do that with your home coffee, which is kind of cool. So regardless of how much you can fill up all the way to the top, you still get to pick your batch size. You can then go in and choose how big of a pot you want to make. You can choose the temperature it's going to brew at. You can create a bloom effect if you want. So if you want to do your 30-second bloom, which is just the initial saturation phase for, say, 203 degrees, give it a pause, and then hit the water again in 30-second pulses, 200 degrees, 197 after that. You can do that with this machine. You don't have to though, but you can if you want. And that's kind of awesome. I like that it's not necessarily making the coffee better, but different. Because ultimately coffee, as I've said, is completely subjective to what you like or what I like, whoever's drinking it likes. But it's fun to be able to tweak it in these little ways where you get to experiment and be like, oh, that's cool. But at the same time, this machine allows for a simplicity that if you just want to brew a quick pot, you can do that too. The heating element that Fellow used is built such that they can change the temperature while the water is pulsing through it. So if it wants to increase or decrease the temperature while you're brewing, it has that ability, and it's well executed. It's pretty neat. The fit and finish of the machine, the menu is great. It's really easy to use. You'll see on a lot of the reviews, people complain about the small screen. I don't actually have a complaint with it. It works fine. I'm able to navigate. You can connect your phone, which I haven't even done. I'm not quite there yet. I probably will get there soon. It has a cold brew function. On the cold brew function, it hits it with hot water, and then over the course of an hour plus 2 hours, it uses the rest cold temperature. So you get that initial saturation, opening up of the coffee pores, and then you get the colder brew for the rest of it. I haven't played with that yet. But overall, its function is really good, even if its aesthetic is not. I don't love its cubic design. I find it's still plasticky in the same but different ways as this. As a photographer, I prefer this one. It shoots better, it looks better in lighting. But that's not enough for me to choose that over this because I like that ability to play. If I was somebody who didn't need that ability to occasionally play with the differences and the variables along the way, I would choose this machine. If you just want every day to wake up, fill it, brew it, go with the Technovorm. It works great. Its temperature regulation is great. It has a hot plate. It's fun to look at. But if you like playing a little bit, the Fellow is a great option. I love the 2 baskets. There actually is a difference in brewing with the 2. The water dispersion, when you're brewing with a smaller one, you click over here and it chooses only 3 of the dispersion holes for that. And when you use the larger basket, you switch it to this and it uses all of the dispersion. It's really fun machine to use. Maybe someday they'll add a hot plate to it. That would be the next no-brainer. I'd love a glass carafe. I just think aesthetically it's a great option. You could always probably, I don't know if you could find one that fits perfect or not. You might. But those are 2 great options for drip coffee. And I didn't want to like this machine as much as I do. I was planning on selling it or giving it to a friend, but at this point I think I'm going to keep it because it's really good. And I find myself making coffee in it every day at some point. It's really nice when you add, like if you've had too much coffee but you still feel like some. I've been bringing home the half calf and just making small pots of that in the afternoon to sip on. It's really good for that purpose. So, fellow Aiden, God damn it, won me over.